Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q3 FY22 earnings conference call of Insecticides India Limited, hosted by Asian Market Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Saurabh Kapadia from Asian Market Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Asian Market Securities, I would like to welcome you all for Q3 FY22 earnings conference call of Insecticides India Limited. From the management, we have with us Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, Managing Director, and Mr. Sandeep Agarwal, Chief Finance Officer of the company. We shall start the call with opening remarks from the management, and then we will move to Q&A session. I now hand over the call to Mr. Rajesh Agarwal for his opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Kapadia. So, Rajesh Agarwal from Insecticides India, I am the MD, and with me is the CFO, Mr. Sandeep Agarwal. So, he'll be joining and he'll be throwing the light on the company performance. First of all, I'll talk about the industry overview because the market scenario, particularly in the domestic segment, has been quite tough actually. The Q3 was the cultivation season and we saw a lot of rainfalls. So, plus and minus. Plus, because the hope for the Rabi season increased and there was lot of shift in the crops. Actually, we see that different areas are showing interest in different crops. Like in south of India, the people converted from rice to other crops like pulses and soybeans and some other crops actually, which created the interest that apart from rice, they will be doing other crops. And if we look at the scenario today, we see a lot of sales of cotton seeds, which means that the cotton is also going to grow, particularly in the dry areas and in some other areas. So there is going to be a good crop shift, which is good for the industry and a good opportunity for everyone. Omicron period, so there were challenges, and at the same time there were a lot of international challenges also, because we see that the international pricing of all the commodities is disturbed. When I say all the commodities, I start with crude, metals, plastics, paper. So all the raw materials are disturbed, and at the same time, the chemical supplies are also disturbed, and still there is a lot of dependence on China. And since China is not smooth, so there are a lot of challenges which are coming in the raw material supplies. So at one time, it is a challenge. At the other time, it gives a big opportunity, because we see that today world is looking at the alternate source, and there is a lot of inquiry from for the products from India, because the world wants to look at the alternate source, and they see India as the alternate, and the lot of companies are making a lot of investment into this business. And this scenario I have seen almost after 2 decades, when the companies are making big investments in their technical manufacturing facilities, in backward integration, and a lot of, I would say, investment is being made, and I see good growth, and I am very, very optimistic that this sector, which was somewhat stagnant in last 2 decades, again, it's a wrong word, because in last 2 decades, from 2,000 crores, the industry has come up to 30,000 crores actually domestic and 30,000 crores international market. So almost 60,000 crores industry is today, but I see that it will grow further at a very high speed, particularly the international markets, and also I see growth in the domestic segment. We have recently seen the budget where a lot of emphasis was given to farmers and agriculture. Particularly, government is focusing a lot on drones, and Kisan drone policy is coming, and a lot of improvements are coming. So we look at the opportunity that our farmer will also get the help or support of the technology, and that day is not far when we see drones making the sprays in the fields actually, which will lead to a lot of ease in spraying. And there are certain opportunities which are left because the crop is dense and people don't want to enter into the crop at those times. So there will be spraying opportunities. And of course, the opportunity goes up. At the same time, today, if we look at the political speeches of the political leaders, so there is a lot of focus on biological and organics. Here I would say I agree and disagree. Agree because yes, biologicals are interesting solutions, and future is not far when biologicals and organic farming will move together along with the, I would say, the conventional farming, because you cannot work with one extreme. It is not possible. Like if we look at ourselves, we take care of ourselves by doing exercise, by doing yoga, by opting to Ayurvedic means. Some people also go for, I would say, homeopathy. But if there is a disease, you have to go to a doctor. Similar is the importance of agrochemicals. If there is an attack on the crop, if there is weed, there is fungus or disease or pest infestation, then there is no other alternate. You can strengthen your crop, you can strengthen your soil, you can also give the immunity from the other things by using the biologicals. But if you try to shift 100% to biologicals, it's little unpractical target, in my opinion. And I believe that all the technologies are going to coexist. And the good thing is, like as a company, we are focusing on each and every direction. Like we are doing a lot of capex on the backward integration, on increasing the capabilities of our technical manufacturing. Insecticides India does the technical manufacturing at 2 locations in Rajasthan and Gujarat. At both the locations, company has made big investments, and roughly the investment of about 68 crores or 680 million has gone into this fiscal, and we are on the verge of completion of our project at Rajasthan. We target that by March end, we'll complete our project in Rajasthan in full, wherein we'll be increasing our capacity by almost 50%, and we are also going to manufacture certain new AIs from Rajasthan. At the same time, in Dahej, we are doing the backward integration, and we'll be making the raw materials for 2 of our major technicals, and along with this, we are also improving or also establishing the capacity of certain new technicals. So I see a lot of new introductions coming out of our technicals and ultimately turning into the formulation. So a lot of opportunity in B2B segment, lot of opportunity into B2C segment, and also I see a lot of opportunity coming up in the international segment because of this investment. And there is a further expansion lined up in there. To complete this expansion further, about 10 crore rupees will also go into this fiscal. So making a total of about 80 crores in this fiscal actually. So if I talk about the future outlook, we see a very strong pipeline of new products. This year, we have introduced 2 products with Nissan, and we are on the verge of introducing 2 more products shortly with Nissan. There will be a lot of products coming from our R&D center. I mean to say backward integration, some new formulation developments. So the pipeline this year is going to be very, very strong, and I believe 22-23 is going to be a big year for the company, where we'll be doing a big jump in the top line as well as the bottom line, because we'll be completing both our projects in Dahej and in Chopanki. Dahej should also be operational by April, which will augment our production capacity. And of course, the new AI are going to support us, and the backward integration program again is going to help us in a big way. When I say big way, I mean to say that will strengthen my technical manufacturing capabilities of the 2 products, and also the new AIs which are going to come. They are going to strengthen our brand sales and the institutional sales as well. And we will start feeling that impact from the first quarter of 22-23 itself. We see a lot of support from the international market. This year, our export sales are almost going to double than the previous year. The achievement in the 3 quarters have been 100 crore plus. There has been a good demand from different parts of the world, and we see the new markets of East and West Europe, Africa, CIS, NAFTA countries, and particularly Canada and South American markets also increasing our market share. And we plan that in the long run, about 15 to 20% is going to come from the export business to IIL. I mean to say that we will double this year, and the target will be to double our export sales in the next year again. Though it is a challenging target because the numbers are growing, but I am quite confident that with the more registrations coming in and with the image the company is getting, we should be able to grow in the international market in a big way. This import substitution, like this backward integration, is going to lead to a lot of import substitution, and though the business of the company in totality is going to increase, but I don't see a big increase in the imports for the company, because ultimately we'll be reducing some portion of the imports from the international markets. So I can say that the margins are going to grow further in the next fiscal, and export targets we have achieved, and we are going to double in this fiscal, and the capex which the company has made is towards the completion, and there is a strong pipeline of products which is coming in, and for this pipeline we are focusing on the market so that we have the pipeline of customer ready to accept this product. And I am very, very confident that the time which is going to come now, particularly in the Kharif season, the beginning of Kharif season itself will start giving us the results. Now I'll request CFO to explain the results of the third quarter.
Yeah, thank you, MD sir. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So let us discuss about the financial results of quarter 3. So the total revenue during the quarter 3 was 3,146 million as compared to the quarter 3 FY21 revenue of around 3,002 million. The EBITDA has increased from 150 million to 186 million, showing a growth of around 23%, and the EBITDA margin has increased by 88 basis points during this quarter. The PAT margin of the company has improved from 61 million to 82 million, showing a growth of around 34%, and the showing increase of around 57 basis points in the PAT margins of the company also. So if we'll go for the further bifurcation, the sales, the total in-house consumption versus sales from the Dahej technical plant was around 49% in-house consumption and 51% was the sales. The total jump in the profit was basically due to the improvement in the sales of Maharatna, which stands at around 56% of the total B2C sales in the first 9 months. The patented product we sold during these 9 months were around 57 crores, and the sale of in-licensing products during the first 9 months is around 100 crores. If we'll see the bifurcation of B2C, B2B and exports, in the first 9 months the B2C sales are the 66% contributors, B2B is 26% contributors, and exports are contributing around 8% in the first 9 months of the company. And we will see the bifurcation of insecticide, herbicide. The insecticide is around 52% in first 9 months, herbicide 34%, fungicide 10%, and biological products are 4%. So these are the basics of the quarter 3 results. Now I open the house for question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep ji. Please put forward your questions.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is line of Prashant Biyani with Elara Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So the guidance that we have mentioned in page 7 of for FY22, revenue, EBITDA and PAT, vis-a-vis if we compare it with the 9-month results, so which implies that in quarter 4 we are going to achieve revenue growth and EBITDA growth of around 32 and 64% broadly. Is my understanding correct?
Also, as far as this revenue growth percentage is concerned, you know what the season is going on in the market, what is the demand pattern, and how the monsoon is panning out. So, the growth target which we had earlier predicted of 10 to 15% might not be achievable. It may be somewhere between 5 to 10%. And we have given a guidance of 100 BPS increase in the EBITDA margin. And in the first 9 months, we had already achieved 88 BPS. But yes, if you'll see the scenario of the industry, there is a lot of increase in the raw material prices, freight prices, then power prices. Despite all the negative scenarios, we still achieved 88% growth in our EBITDA margin. I think that is also commendable, but definitely in the fourth quarter also, we are trying to on the Maharatna products, which is a good contributor, and due to that, our first 9 months results are showing an increase in the EBITDA margin and net profit margin. And hopefully, we will try to fulfill our commitment about the EBITDA margin. Possibly, we will try our best for that.
Sure. And so secondly, this 50% capacity expansion in technical in Chopanki, this is happening in technical or formulation?
This is all for technicals.
Sir, which AIs we are planning to commercialize from there? If you can share some name.
Actually, we'll get them as the things progress, but there are certain things which I can share that like we are increasing our capacity of thiamethoxam, lambda-cyhalothrin. There will be a new molecule like thiacycline which will be manufactured here, and there will be a few more actually which are going to come with passage of time. So dinotefuran capacities also we are going to increase here. So there are certain couple of molecules. This like now in Chopanki we only do insecticides, and we are also going to add one fungicide here, namely metalaxyl. And maybe metalaxyl M also will get added into the long run, which is particularly for exports. So we'll be working for these two molecules also. So there are certain molecules actually which will be coming now. So we have set up some particular lines, and there are some multi-purpose lines also.
So when is the expansion going to complete in Chopanki?
I've told that by March end we'll complete the expansion of Chopanki.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, Ji. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Himanshu Upadhyay with O3 Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, you are very clear.
See, my first question was more on the broader business. Okay, if we look at our return on capital employed, there is a lot to catch up. Okay, and the inventory days have been pretty high, and again receivable days. Okay, so and again the EBITDA margins are 10% around. Okay, see over next 4 to 5 years, what can lead the margins to improve from here? And again the working capital. Okay, that we can have at least high teens type of ROCE. Okay, any vision statement you have on how you want to take or improve the return ratios for the business, and what would be the things which you are doing that or the company's return ratios improve over next 3 to 5 years, and what is the target you will have on those terms? Because when I see your revenue line, we are around 1,400-1,500 crores, okay, which is a pretty good revenue line in terms of other agrochemical companies which are present in India. But the one place where we need to improve is the return ratios. Okay, so some thoughts on yours on those terms, it will be helpful.
Your question is quite interesting. Actually, the CFO can talk about the numbers, but still I would like to tell you that we are very seriously working on this. These 2 years have been the COVID years, actually, very, very difficult time, where we didn't want to give too much credit to the market. But still, the agrochemical business is a credit-oriented business where you have to build the stocks also, because the movement of stocks have been very, very difficult from the international markets. The time which was previously 3 weeks, now we have to consider more than 2 months actually, and then again there are a lot of issues and the supplies are trouble. So you have to keep the stock and then run the show. But you will see all the ratios improving as our our sales goes up and the things goes up. So you will see further improvement, I believe, in quarter 4, and from quarter 1 you will see a continuous improvement. Though we are stuck around 1,500 crores, but with our expansion coming in and the new products coming in, because I told you that a lot of interesting molecules are coming from Nissan. We'll be launching 2 more molecules of Nissan. Last year we have launched 2. The time which we got to market this product was very, very limited. So technically I can say there will be 4 new molecules, 2 lower launch in the last season. In the second of the season, 2 further will be coming from Nissan this year. So there will be 4 new products from Nissan. Apart from Nissan, we are also bringing some products by backward integration. So there will be all new chemistries manufactured first time in the country. Apart from that, there will be certain new formulations which will be coming from our own R&D, and there will be further more technicals also which will be coming from our R&D. Some of the registrations are bagged and they are waiting for the plant to start the production. At some places we are waiting for the registrations, but everything is in the final stages. So this year I see that the pipeline is going to be very, very strong. Last 2-3 years the registrations were not coming. That's why the performance was slow. If you see at the growth has been single digit in the last 2-3 years actually, which will change in totality. Whatever we have lost in 3 years will make a recovery in 2023. And this year we will be targeting a big growth, actually a big leap. We'll be trying to touch 2,000 crores in the next fiscal. So I'm not giving the exact number, but we'll be somewhere, like we are still under planning, but we'll be targeting to meet that number in the next fiscal with the good growth in the bottom line. So whatever you have observed, the observations are correct to an extent, but you will see a big improvement in the coming year itself. So there will be no need to wait for 3, 4, 5 years. We'll be showing our performance this year itself. Thank you. Sandeep ji, would you like to add something?
Yes, sir. As far as the capital investment return ratios are concerned, boss, we are investing in both the plants in Chupanki and Dahej for the last 2 years, but due to COVID, everything get delayed. And now we are hoping that our plant in Chupanki will start in the month of March. And Dahej also we are trying to start in the month of April. So when both the plants will start, then definitely whatever investment we had made in these 2 plants will start giving us the return, and that will show you the improvement on capital investment also. Thank you.
Okay, and one more thing. See, we are seeing a significant amount of capex which is happening in India, okay? And not just in India, but in many other geographies on the chemicals side, okay? Both pharma and agrochemicals, okay? And especially on the raw material side, okay? Generally, this business is a 15 to 20% ROCE business, the API or the AI manufacturing, okay? But last few years have been pretty good for the backward players. But with increased capacities which will be coming up in next 2 years or 3 years, do you think the margins can go down and those extremely high margins which were seen in the APIs or the AIs will move back to what they were historically, or you think the numbers are sustainable on actually, and how will it impact your formulations business, which is a bigger pie of your business?
It's a very tricky situation actually in the market. There is a lot of pressure on the generics and there is a lot of lobbying around banning the generics. You have already seen this banning happening in past 4 or 5 years actually. A lot of products have gone, and 2 of our star products have also gone actually in previous 2 years. So this is a continuous pressure on the generics, and new technology products are coming. So now whatever investments are going, they are going around the new generation molecules, and you know that new chemistries have better margins also. So I don't think that there is going to be impact on the margin side to the industry, but there is going to be an opportunity, as I was telling previously, that there is a lot of opportunity in the international market, because at the price which India will be able to manufacture, it is difficult for the Western world, and we can opt as a additional source or as a to China, which is number one for the entire world. Now they are looking at the new alternates. So India would establish itself as a new alternate, and I see a good opportunity in front of India, particularly in the agrochemical sector and also in some other sector where India will be increasing the exports in the big way, and a lot of exports will be going to the Western world. And when they go to the Western world developed countries, the margins are not bad actually.
Okay. I have one more question. If you permit me, I will ask, or I'll join the queue.
I don't know about the queue, basically.
Can I ask one more question? Okay. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
So on the exports side, okay, what we have seen is the prices of chemicals or agrochemicals has increased drastically in Europe, okay. Are you seeing any benefits on the formulation and registration? What might be there, because the patented companies, the price differential between you and them can be much higher, and people moving more towards the generics because the price of the patented molecules have increased drastically, what we hear in Europe. And what will be your broader European strategy or the geographies where you want to grow? What we understand, Europe is the most profitable part. So that's the reason the question came.
I would tell you that depends on the products you have. There is profitability worldwide, all around. In Europe, we have bagged our first registration actually, which will be first registration of AI, which will be now marketed in about 17, 18 countries of Europe. So it is into that zone. So we see an opportunity there. Yes, people have interest in generics. People have interest in specialty molecules. Of course, the margins in specialty are always higher. In case of generics also, the prices have increased actually because of the increase in the input cost everywhere. So at this moment also, the markets are quite disturbed, particularly in case of herbicides. There is no clarity that the price which are prevailing in the international markets today, are these the sustainable prices or the prices are going to fall? So there is a little amount of risk also. That's why we have a mixed strategy. In certain molecules, we are going fast. In other molecules, we are very, very slow and cautious. We don't want to invest. So the strategy is very, very clear that we have to build up our strength in certain molecules and move into the international markets. So, of course, whatever development we do, that will be sustainable program, because when we do the backward integration in my molecule, I get the strength. When I manufacture first time product in the country, again, it gives me an advantage of being the first mover after the inventor. So, similarly, getting those advantage into the international markets also. So as a strategy, we are very, very clear that we'll continue pushing the novelties to the market, and this will give Insecticides India edge in the market, and our growth will be sustainable.
Thank you. I'll join back in the queue for further queries if I have.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to all participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. The next question is from the line of Dhruv with SDFC AMC. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So the first question is, in the last year same quarter, was there any sales of Nufarm and Thymet that were banned?
No.
Okay. So if in that context...
Yeah, it was banned much before actually. 30th December, I think, was the last date but we finished it much before that. And Thymet had an expiry of 1.5 years only. So it finished or 6 months before that actually, I believe. So...
So 3Q last year has no impact of any of these.
Last year it banned in 2020 actually, not 21.
Yes, sir, 2020.
2020 was the final year for Nuan, December, and June was the final month for Thymet actually. 2020. Okay. Now we are in 22, so it's almost 1.5 years we have not seen these molecules.
All right. So, sir, if I look at the B2C sales for this quarter particularly on a YOY basis, they seem to have fallen by about 8%. Now we have seen that there has been a lot of increase in the technical prices. So everyone seems to have taken price increase, or your peers also have taken a price increase. So and I was wondering, there should have been a benefit of price increase plus probably some volume growth depending upon market condition, but our sales have declined. So I'm just wondering, was there anything specific, this quarter that we should be that should be highlighted?
देखिए, you are saying संदीप जी 8% डिक्लाइन है क्या इसमें?
सर वो B2C की सेल्स 66% रहेगी ना जी, और B2 एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ गया आपका इस क्वार्टर में.
हाँ, so growth has come from export, but B2C particularly has declined on a YOY basis.
Almost matching दिखाई दे रहे थे शायद. चलिए, आप कह रहे हैं तो I take it actually. ठीक है, थोड़ा सा impact हो सकता है basically because the sales were not very smooth because the rains which we have seen this year are they have been extraordinary rains at the end of the season. So थोड़ा impact रहा है basically, but we have made up and it will be made up actually. So we are not trying to dump any stocks in the market. Rabi का खरीफ season के भी थोड़े से goods return थे, so they got little delayed, but we have lifted back everything. So market is very clean. So हो सकता है कि that would have impacted a little.
Got it. So because am I right to understand that this quarter there would have been some price increases also because your technical prices have, raw material prices have also increased?
Increase होता है, but at increased prices much sales have not happened. Reasonable sales have happened actually. So you'll see some more sales happening in Q4 on little price increase. So the quarter 3 was just converting. Converting means the price increase, the trend has just started. So it has gained in Q4. So Q4 you will find that impact coming, not in Q3.
Got it.
So people got interested in B2B demand. There was export demand because there were international shortages. So there we could convert. But in brand sales, yes, some returns of Q2 because of the heavy rainfalls and low demand in Q3 in totality would have impacted our B2C sales.
Got it, sir. So because your exports have grown very strongly, but even the B2B business, I was wondering because even technical prices have increased, so even your B2B business should have seen a very strong growth. But they have grown, but not as strongly probably as one could have expected. So
देखिए सीजन खत्म होने आप you will have to appreciate कि अभी ending है. Multinationals have to do the closing in December and other companies also. This is the closing period. तो अभी कोई means ये जो 6 months रहते हैं, the second half of the year is never a strong selling period for us. So it is reasonable selling period, and this year it got an impact due to bad rains actually. Because when we required rains were not there, and at the end of the season there were heavy rains, and even now in the winters there are heavy rains in front of you. So that is impacting the cropping cycle and cropping everything actually. So the demand is mediocre. This is not a very strong season from agrochemicals perspective. It's still mediocre.
Got it, sir. Sure, sir. So the next one was that in your press release you have mentioned that you have got a patent for one of your molecules, I believe a combination product. So how should we see that? I mean, does it now enable you to charge more on the market? I think a herbicide you mentioned.
It's the wrong way of putting it actually. When you make the product patents and you are bringing the innovative technologies, of course you are going to get the premium because of the exclusivity. So it's nothing like charging high. We are investing a lot on R&D. I'm running 4 R&D centers with different themes. One biological R&D center, one is the new product discovery R&D center, 2 are technical synthesis and development R&D centers. So we are continuously investing on R&D, though that big amount is not visible because almost all of my R&D centers are existing in my plants apart from one R&D center, which is a R&D center run with the Japanese. So a huge investment is being made and it will be a return on the effort actually, whatever we gain. So if we are not making big bottom line, you say you are not making. If we are making, you are saying that we are I don't know. The term you use.
I was wondering from this angle that this patented product now that we have got.
When you are giving the new technologies, of course the premium is going to come. So this year, as I told, that my pipeline is going to be very strong. There will be about 7-8 launches, out of which we are expecting 4-5 will be very big launches. So all will be announced, I think, within the first quarter itself by like April, May, June. So the announcements are going to start from March, April, and May, June. So these 4 months there will be big announcements actually about these molecules, and you will see those announcements. So next time when we'll be talking about the final results of this year, by that time I believe that there will be about 6-7 launches by that time, and you will know these stories from the market, what is happening and what type of launches are these. So interesting launches. Many will be, yes, the niche market segments. So where we'll of course get the price advantage also.
Got it. Sure, sir. So the other question was on the, say, is it possible to share what would be a total gross block investment in our technical manufacturing? And as you mentioned, so just to understand what are we currently and how much is it, going in the next, say, 1 year or 2 years? Because you mentioned your capacity is increasing by about 50%. So just wanted to get some sense.
Actually, we had already made a budget of about 200 odd crores actually for 3-year investment, but due to COVID, it delayed to 4 years. And in 4 years, everything is a public number. But since you have put a question, so I'll request CFO to explain, we can submit a statement wherein we say that our gross block was this much before this and this much investment we have made, which is going to capitalize now, and the total investment is this much. And of course, then you'll be able to calculate the things. So
sure,
we'll make it.
You will help us to analyze the number better, because that way we understand the potential even better. How much the gross block is, how is the potential.
I will share the figures on mail.
Sure, sir. Perfect. And so lastly, exports.
Actually, the highest margin is there in B2C sales, because B2B sales is the sales to the peer, so you cannot earn as compared to the B2C sales. So, and as far as the Maharatna is concerned, definitely the margin in Maharatna is better than the generic product margins. And if you see the margin improvement, the basic reason for the improvement in margin is also that in the FY21, the Maharatna's contribution was only 36% in quarter 3, whereas in this quarter 3, FY22, the Maharatna contribution is around 46%.
Right. So here I would like to add a little as a strategy. We are focusing a lot on Maharatnas. This year we have designed a further bifurcation of Maharatnas as focus Maharatnas and Maharatnas. And we'll be targeting that a major portion of our business has to come from focus Maharatnas and Maharatnas, where we'll be including certain new molecules which are going to be launched into this fiscal, and certain molecules which have come into the last fiscal, where we got very little window to market those products. So I believe with these new technologies also, and with a focused approach, our sales for these focus products, which is focus Maharatnas and Maharatnas, is going to increase further, which is going to give us a good growth both in terms of top line and bottom line in the new fiscal.
Right. And so what would be the gross margins basically in the Maharatna? Any approximate numbers?
It will be difficult to share the numbers actually, because it again varies from product to product and the market scenarios. But to believe like the focus Maharatna, the new categorization which is we have given is going to have the highest margins, followed by Maharatnas, and then there will be gold segment, and silver segment will be just I would say there will be the products under tail cutting, which will be tail cut in routine. So in next 4-5 years, you will see them declining off further, and the silver range is the range which is under tail cutting. So this means it will keep on varying from product to product and time to time.
Right. And so one last question basically, if may I have. So one on the capex side basically. So just wanted to understand the timelines basically of the project, number one, and the second thing is
we have 2 projects actually.
Right, sir.
2 major projects we are completing. We have given one is the expansion at Chopanki. So Chopanki is going to complete by March. Another is expansion at Dahej. Dahej is also going to complete by April. And third one was the expansion which we had done in the SEZ for establishing a formulation plant for exports. So that is already completed mostly and capitalized. So I believe we'll be completing all our expansions by April or maybe middle of May, wherein Chopanki will be done by March in this fiscal in full, and Dahej will be coming later on, like April, and we should be able to target April in full. So again,
the
Dahej will be
total capex number done for all these 3 projects?
Mostly it is done actually. Now it's the last leg, whatever 10-15 crores will be required to finish this.
And what has been the total amount spent on this capex?
We had given a target of 200 crores for 3 years actually. So Sandeep ji can give the exact number. This year the investment which has gone is about 68 crores roughly. Sandeep ji?
Yes, sir.
So roughly around these numbers.
Okay. And so what sort of asset turns and margins profile one can expect from this capex?
We have not declared it clearly, but we can say that by this capex we'll be increasing our capacity by almost 50%, and in terms of technical manufacturing, and this will be supporting our company in a big way. And once this capacity starts manufacturing, comes into production, so we see a good growth, and next year we'll be targeting roughly about 2,000 crore plus, and good expansion in the bottom line also. Because this capex is divided into 2 parts. One is the new, that will be the total sales. This capex we can divide into 2 parts. One is for manufacturing of new AIs, and another is backward integration, which will not increase the sales number, but which will support the margins as well as sales of these AIs where we are doing the backward integration.
Right, sir. So you talked about that.
Sorry to interrupt. Mr. Binani, may we request that you return to the question queue for follow-up questions?
So I was just confirming the last thing basically.
Sure.
So may I do that? Yeah. So sir, you talked about that 2,000 crore sort of revenue number for next year.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhijit Bora with Sharekhan. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Sir, my question is that when you give a revenue guidance of 2,000 crore next year, can you break it the incremental revenue which we'll be getting from new AIs and the benefit of backward integration?
Actually, it is little early because the new AIs also will be coming out of the backward integration only, and from the expansion only. And backward integration is not going to give you the number, any sales, direct sales. It will be consumed in the, in the AIs you are going to manufacture. So there will be hardly a 50 crore jump from the backward integration, because if I'm going to sell certain chemicals, hardly 50 crores. But the entire jump is going to come in terms of we will become a sustainable supplier for these products to the world, because people will be able to believe better, and they will get regular supplies at a price which will be less fluctuating. So this will give them the confidence for our supply position actually, and also give us this confidence to sign longer agreements actually with the people, particularly in those 2 products where we are doing the backward integration.
Okay, sir. One thing I don't understand is that you mentioned that 68 crore of capex you will be doing in total 100 crore of capex, if I'm not wrong.
200 करोड़ रुपया खर्च किया 3 साल की जगह 4 साल में, पिछले 200 करोड़ से ज्यादा, जिसमें 68 करोड़ इंक्लूड है, 10-15 करोड़ बचा है जो कि अप्रैल तक लग जाएगा.
ओके, अगर 200 करोड़ जो खर्च किया है तो FY21 का अगर मैं आपका रेवेन्यू देखता हूँ तो 1400 करोड़ है.
काम नहीं किया उसने, जो 200 करोड़ खर्च किया है उसमें से एक भी पैसे का काम नहीं हुआ. जो प्रोडक्शन आएगा चौपांकी का वो मार्च में आएगा, और जो दहेज का प्रोडक्शन आएगा वो अप्रैल में आएगा. जब प्रोडक्शन आना शुरू होगा, जब प्लांट चल जाएगा, तभी उसका रिजल्ट आएगा, और वो रिजल्ट अगले साल में आएगा, इस साल में नहीं है. क्योंकि जब तक प्रोडक्शन में नहीं प्लांट को लाएंगे तो आपने पैसा लगा दिया, पैसा अपने आप रिटर्न नहीं देगा. जब प्रोडक्शन प्लांट चालू हो जाएगा उसके बाद रिटर्न आएगा बॉस.
हाँ, तो मेरा क्वेश्चन उसके ऊपर ही है कि 200 करोड़ आपने डाला और 600 करोड़ का इंक्रीमेंटल रेवेन्यू आप कर रहे हैं, तो 3x एसेट टर्नओवर हो गया जो भी आप कैपेक्स कर रहे हैं.
अगर आप टेक्निकल मैन्युफैक्चरिंग आप जानते हैं और आप समझते हैं और हमारी इंडस्ट्री को देखते हैं तो 3x से ज्यादा कोई करता नहीं है, और वो पहले साल में होगा. उसके बाद और भी ज्यादा ग्रोथ आएगा. वो केवल 600 करोड़ के लिए नहीं बना है. 600 करोड़ वी आर टारगेटिंग फॉर दिस ईयर, क्योंकि हमारी इंडस्ट्री के अंदर आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन, प्रोडक्ट रजिस्ट्रेशन, उसके बाद उसकी स्मूथ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, आप नए नए मॉलिक्यूल स्टार्ट करेंगे, उनको स्टेबलाइज करेंगे, उनको चलाएंगे, सीजनल कंडीशंस, बहुत सारे इम्पैक्ट होते हैं। मैं पहले साल में ही 3x दे रहा हूँ। आप इंडस्ट्री को थोड़ा इवेल्युएट कर लीजिए कि जो टेक्निकल प्लान डालते हैं तो कितनी रिटर्न उससे लगाते हैं। तो मुझे भी थोड़ा गाइडेंस मिलेगा, अगर कुछ आप आगे लॉन्ग रन में उसको आइडेंटिफाई करके दे पाएंगे, आई विल बी रियली हेल्पफुल, इट विल बी हेल्पफुल टू मी। मैं जो समझता हूँ 3x लोग करते हैं जनरली।
So peak revenue potential कितना हो सकता है on all the existing capacities we have, including this?
देखिए, अगेन मेरा 10% ग्रोथ का एक जो टारगेट रहता है वो पर एनम का रहता ही है कि हम 10% पे ग्रो करेंगे, 15% तक ग्रो करना चाहते हैं। पिछले सालों में रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं आए, एक्सपेंशन नहीं हुए, तो उतना ही रखा। अभी हम लोग ने नेक्स्ट ईयर के गाइडेंस के लिए मैं बात कर रहा हूँ कि हम 500 करोड़ प्लस से ग्रो करेंगे, आगे भी ग्रो करेंगे, वो ग्रोथ इसी से होगा। इसके अंदर मेरा अभी और फर्दर कैपेक्स का जो प्लान है वो बड़े प्लान अभी नहीं है। हालांकि हमने एक और डिक्लेरेशन किया कि बायोलॉजिकल्स में हम थोड़ा सा इन्वेस्टमेंट करेंगे और बायोलॉजिकल में एक अपना कंपनी का नया बायोलॉजिकल आर्म बनाएंगे, अपनी फुल्ली ओन सब्सिडरी कंपनी की डेवलप करेंगे, जहां पर मेरा बायोलॉजिकल R&D सेंटर ऑलरेडी चल रहा है, लेकिन मैं फर्दर थोड़ा सा एक्सपेंशन उसके अंदर करूंगा। उसके अलावा अभी केमिकल्स में नया एक्सपेंशन प्लान नहीं किया है, तो अगले जो 2-3 साल की ग्रोथ आनी है वो जो एक्सपेंशन अभी किया इससे ही आनी है। इसके बाद में नया एक्सपेंशन का हो सकता है प्लानिंग नेक्स्ट ईयर में या उससे नेक्स्ट ईयर में हो जाए, लेकिन अगेन उसका रिजल्ट तब आएगा जब वो एक्सपेंशन कंप्लीट हो जाएंगे। तो जब भी आप एक्सपेंशन करते हैं वो 3 से 4 साल की प्लानिंग करके करते हैं कि एक बार एक्सपेंशन हो गया तो 3 से 4 साल की जो ग्रोथ आएगी उसी एक्सपेंशन से आएगी।
So lastly, what I want to basically understand is that
So, is it possible to give some, quantitative or qualitative sense on how are our registrations moving? Because I believe you are working a lot on registrations globally. So, how are our registrations moving?
Actually, we have more than 100 odd partners, and we have made various applications across the world. So far, our basic investment which is going or basic exports which are happening are all brand ready-made product exports. But now we are bagging the registration in South America and also in Europe, and we are expecting certain more registrations in other geographies like Malaysia we have bagged, Taiwan we have bagged. So a lot of registrations are started clicking now, which means that a lot of my technicals will start moving directly along with the formulation. So I see a good opportunity. And then again, if you have further queries, you can ask this detailed question, and my export department can give a detailed reply for this actually. And Mr. Satwa is generally available for all the meetings and conferences. He is the right person to give the reply in detail for this, but we'll make one statement for this also.
Perfect, sir. That would be very helpful. Thank you so much, sir. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Riju Dalui, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Sir, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask you one number specific question. So, if possible, could you please share Q3 sales data for domestic, B2B, and export business?
Q3 only.
Hello.
Do we have that handy?
Sir, Q3 only Q3 proportion is B2C is 58%, B2B is 27%, and exports are 15%.
Thank you, sir. And also one more question that I have is that in our previous question that has regarding the price hike. So you were saying that you have taken little bit of price hike in Q3 and the more will come in Q4. So could you please quantify that in Q4 you will be able to fully pass on the higher raw material cost?
It will pass in stages. Q4 is the end of season actually. So though we have started increasing the prices, and for certain molecules, yes, it will be passed on in full. For other molecules, we will be having old inventories and we may be a little premium on that also. And for certain products, I may have to just touch the cost, or it may be cost minus 1-2%. Generally, we don't sell at a loss, but there may be a specific situation molecule-wise. So very difficult to comment at this situation. But I would say overall you will see an increase in the EBITDA margins in Q4. That much I can comment. And the exact impact will start coming from Q1 because as the new crops comes in, with the advent of the Kharif season only, the real impact is going to show.
Got it. Sir, given these high prices across each and every chemicals and the higher power cost, so that might have impacted the Q3 numbers. But if I look at your gross margin, that has improved by 330 bips on YOY basis. So it was largely on account of export contribution and higher B2B and higher sales of Maharashtra product.
Yeah, basically it is the product mix which is making a difference. So when the new products starts moving in a better position, and since the market is already showing the increase in the prices, so we are able to realize a little better actually than the previous year.
Got it. Thank you, sir. This was from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Himanshu Binani with Prabhudas Lilladher. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. So my line actually got disconnected in between, so I don't know if you have answered this question. So my first question was on the gross margin side basically. So despite in a rising RM cost scenario, while we have been commenting that we haven't taken price hikes to that quantum, that is actually evident into the numbers for this quarter. So I was just wondering what has been the reason behind the gross margins improvement basically during the quarter. Can you please?
Yeah, basically that simple actually. Number one, it is generally the product mix which impacts. Number two, to an extent we are able to take it actually. So not fully, and there may be some old inventory which has moved on a new price. So I'll not say exactly on the new price, but at a little higher price, so it would have been impacted. You will see that it's not a huge number actually, it's a marginal number. In terms of percentage, it is big, but exactly we see it's just 3 crores. So 3 crores is a minuscule number technically, but in terms of percentage, it is looking big. That's it.
3 crores is the inventory gain number during this quarter.
I'll not say exactly the inventory gain actually. So there have been various reasons. The product mix, number one is the product mix, number two may be the better relation, number three may be the inventory gain. So all the three reasons put together might have impacted actually this.
Right. And so what has been the quantum of price hike basically on a portfolio level? What sort of price hike we have taken?
It's not in general actually. The major hike is coming in the generic products, and in that segment also there are certain set of insecticides which is impacted, and herbicides are impacted very badly. So there are particularly some products like glyphosate, paraquat, atrazine, which are seeing the maximum price hike, followed by some other herbicides like protilachlor. And then there are certain insecticides which are particularly neonicotide insecticides, imidacloprid, acetamiprid, which are showing a big hike. There are other products which are showing smaller hikes. So again, this is a temporary scenario. I cannot say that this is going to be the same scenario in the next Kharif, because China is very unpredictable market and they are commanding the market at this moment, and they are trying to govern the price and lead the world. But I don't think that this is a very stable situation. So in my belief, the prices are going to drop from here a little. So I told, you said you were disconnected. So we have made product-wise strategy where in certain molecules we are going slow. In certain other molecules where we believe that we'll be able to make the recovery or we'll be able to take the price hike, there we are going little faster.
Right. And sir, I have one more question basically on the gross margin side. So sir, we have actually commented on some sales return basically during the quarter, and that was from the Kharif season. So what has been the quantum basically of the sales return basically during this quarter?
Sandeep, can you give the exact number?
30 crores.
Sorry?
Approximately 30 crores. 30
crores. Okay. And so my next question is basically on the guidance basically. So we continue to maintain our guidance basically for the whole year. So now going into the Q4, which happens to be the seasonally weakest quarter basically of the domestic agrochemicals per se. So just wanted to understand with the 9-month run rate basically for the fourth quarter. So what is actually giving us this confidence that we would be like able to achieve the growth guidance basically both on the revenue as well as on the EBITDA side?
Sandeep, you can take it actually.
Yes.
From my side, I would say that reasonably we should be able to sell in all the directions, like all the three departments, particularly B2B, international business, and B2C. They are quite confident that they will be able to meet their targets. So I'm confident. So that is a major reason actually. And Sandeep, you can speak on this.
Yes, practically, if you see the first 10 months results, the revenue growth is only 5%, and I feel that the fourth quarter is a lower sales quarter, so the total revenue growth should be somewhere around 5 to 10%, and the EBITDA margins, which has improved by 88 BPS in third quarter, so I hope that it will improve further in fourth quarter, so we'll be able to maintain our guidelines on EBITDA margin improvement, but definitely on revenue part, I feel that it should be somewhere between 5 to 10%.
Right, sir. Right, sir. And so one more question basically related to this only. So, sir, just wanted to understand the margin differential basically on the gross margin side. Basically, if you can quantify for the Maharatna products and the other molecules basically, and the same way for the domestic B2B, B2C and the export side. So how has been the margin differential basically in all these categories?
500 crore incremental FY26 के ऊपर अपन aspire कर रहे हैं 10% annual revenue growth, right? Is that the right understanding?
परमानेंट मतलब मैं इससे ज्यादा बोलता नहीं हूँ, इसलिए इसको परमानेंट रखता हूँ क्योंकि इस बार आ रहा है तो इसलिए वो होगा. बट 10% से भी बेटर होना चाहिए. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि जब एक्सपेंशन आ रहे हैं और प्रोडक्ट्स आ रहे हैं तो जो ग्रोथ है अगले 2-3 साल में थोड़ा बेटर रहना चाहिए.
ओके,
डबल डिजिट में आना चाहिए जी.
और क्योंकि रजिस्ट्रेशन के थ्रू होगा अपना सब, तो मार्जिन भी बेटर रहेगा, ये 500 करोड़ प्लस इंक्रीमेंटल जो भी रहेगा, राइट?
हाँ, देखिए धीरे धीरे अभी देयर इज अ ट्रेमेंडस प्रेशर ऑन जेनरिक्स. ऑलरेडी आज गवर्नमेंट में 27 प्रोडक्ट्स हैं जिसके ऊपर कंसिडरेशन चल रहा है. देयर आर फर्दर अदर प्रोडक्ट्स विच आर अंडर प्रेशर. तो जेनरिक्स के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा प्रेशर है. अल्टीमेटली मुझे जेनरिक्स को नई टेक्नोलॉजी से सब्स्टिट्यूट करना ही पड़ेगा बिकॉज दैट इज द डिमांड ऑफ द डे. अगर मैं इंटरनेशनल मार्केट देखता हूँ तो वहाँ सेम सिनेरियो है, डोमेस्टिक मार्केट देखता हूँ तो वहाँ सेम सिनेरियो है. मेरे जो 2 स्टार मॉलिक्यूल्स थे जो मैंने मल्टीनेशनल कंपनीज के ब्रांड्स को एक्वायर किया हुआ था और जो मैं अमेरिकन कंपनी जो एमवेट है उसके साथ कोलैबोरेशन में मार्केट किया करता था, थायमेट और नोवान, वो बैन हुए जो कि मेरे नंबर 1 और नंबर 2 प्रोडक्ट्स थे. लेकिन उससे मैंने अपनी परफॉर्मेंस को हिलने नहीं दिया, ईयर ऑन ईयर उसको बेटर किया है. तो इसी तरीके से आगे भी अगर कोई ऐसी पोजीशंस आएंगी तो हम उसके लिए तैयार रहेंगे. हमारी स्ट्रैटेजी है कि पुरानी जो टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं उनको धीरे धीरे, क्योंकि प्रेशर है उसके ऊपर, तो वो निकलनी ही है. तो नई टेक्नोलॉजीज को डेवलप करते हैं और नए प्रोडक्ट्स को मार्केट में लाते जाएं. डोमेस्टिक मार्केट और इंटरनेशनल मार्केट दोनों को फोकस करें और साथ ही साथ क्योंकि जब हम इतनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करेंगे तो B2B में भी एक अपॉर्चुनिटी आएगी, उसको भी फोकस करें. तो तीनों अपॉर्चुनिटीज को फोकस करते हुए हम लोग आगे बढ़ेंगे. और उसके साथ साथ बायोलॉजिकल्स में भी हमें काफी इंटरेस्ट आ रहा है. पिछले 3-4 साल से हम बायोलॉजिकल में इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं. लेकिन अभी जो मेरा प्लांट था बायोलॉजिकल का वो थर्ड पार्टी ओन प्लांट था, लेकिन अपनी फुल्ली ओन सब्सिडरी बना के मैं बायोलॉजिकल में भी अब डायरेक्टली इन्वेस्टमेंट चालू करूंगा. R&D सेंटर अभी तक मेरा था, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी अपनी नहीं थी. अब मैन्युफैक्चर फैसिलिटी भी कंपनी ओन हो जाएगी फुल्ली, विच विल बी रन बाय द सब्सिडरी. इंसेक्टिसाइड इंडिया नाम है. जब बायोलॉजिकल प्रोडक्ट उस पर बेचता हूँ तो लोगों को डाउट आता है कि बायोलॉजिकल है, तो उसको थोड़ा एब्रिविएशंस में नाम रख के उसको एक सब्सिडरी कंपनी बना के मैं मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करूंगा.
Okay, sir, that is very helpful. Thanks a lot, and best of luck for future growth.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please limit your questions to 1 per participant. The next question is from the line of Himanshu Upadhyay with O3 Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks again for the again. So my question was on tail cutting, and we had spoken about tail cutting and generics. Okay. So what proportion of or what has been the concentration of revenues come in last 5 years? Because tail cutting as a strategy has been there for, I think, at least last 5 years.
It's a continuous process, because अगर मैं बोलूँगा कि मैं 10 नए प्रोडक्ट्स इस साल इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहा हूँ, तो इसका मतलब मेरे वर्किंग प्रोडक्ट्स 150 हो जाएंगे और एसक्यू शायद 500 से ज़्यादा. बट दैट इज अनप्रैक्टिकल. अल्टीमेटली इफ आई एम ब्रिंगिंग दी न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज, तो कहीं ना कहीं आई हैव टू कट अपॉन दी ओल्डर टेक्नोलॉजीज ऑल्सो. तो हम कंटिन्यूसली काम करते हैं और उनको सिल्वर रेंज में डाल देते हैं, प्रोडक्ट्स को डाल देते हैं. दिस ईयर माई सिल्वर रेंज सेल्स इज लेस देन 5%. अगले साल मैंने थोड़े और ज्यादा प्रोडक्ट को सिल्वर रेंज में डालना प्रपोज कर दिया है. आई नॉट से कि 5% हो सकता है वो बढ़ के 6% हो जाए, 7% हो जाए, क्योंकि प्रोडक्ट को खत्म करना इज नॉट दैट इजी. मुझे मार्केट के स्टॉक देखने हैं, उनको खत्म करना है, मुझे प्लांट के स्टॉक देखने हैं, और उसके अलावा प्लांट का पैकेजिंग मटेरियल भी खत्म करना है. अगर मैं खत्म नहीं करूंगा तो हैवी लॉसेज आते हैं उसके. तो टेल कटिंग में जब हम ला देते हैं तो वी आर क्लियरली फोकस्ड कि इसको बंद करना है धीरे धीरे, और उसको बिल्कुल मिनिस्क्यूल कर देते हैं. तो कई बार पूरी तरीके से खत्म होने में 2-3-4 साल लग जाते हैं प्रोडक्ट को, क्योंकि किसी मार्केट में वो बहुत अच्छा भी कर रहा होता है, टीम का भी रेजिस्टेंस होता है, नेटवर्क का भी रेजिस्टेंस होता है, और इन्वेस्टमेंट्स भी कंपनी की लगी होती हैं. लेकिन एज अ स्ट्रेटेजी हम लोग बड़े क्लियर हैं कि मैक्सिमम बिजनेस हम महारत्नास और फोकस महारत्ना से करेंगे, फॉलोड बाय गोल्ड. बाकी हमने सारी रेंज खत्म कर दी और सीधा सिल्वर ले आए. सिल्वर में 50 से भी ज्यादा शायद मेरे ब्रांड्स रहेंगे, और वो धीरे धीरे टेल कटिंग की तरफ जा रहे हैं, और वो सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी रहेगा कि सिल्वर है तो टेल कटिंग है.
Okay. So our aim is to have around 100 products in the market, means on an average 30-40 tail cutting में रहेंगे, but 100 would be the main focus area for us to grow. Would that be stay right?
50. देखिए फोकस एरिया मेरा 50 के अराउंड रहेगा, क्योंकि महारत्ना और फोकस महारत्ना में जो प्रोडक्ट आएंगे वो लगभग 50 रहेंगे. बट मेरे पास जो एक्टिव प्रोडक्ट रहेंगे नेक्स्ट ईयर वो 125 के करीब रहेंगे. तो 125 में से करीबन शायद 25-30, एग्जैक्ट नंबर मुझे मालूम नहीं है, मेरे प्रोडक्ट शायद, या और 35 प्रोडक्ट गोल्ड रेंज में रहेंगे जो मुझे करने पड़ेंगे, और बाकी के जो 40-50 प्रोडक्ट में वो सिल्वर रेंज में रहेंगे. तो इस तरीके से नंबर बड़ा हो सकता है, बट वो 50 जो प्रोडक्ट है वो बिल्कुल मतलब दे आर मीन्स we are discouraging those products basically as a strategy. We are not investing.
Okay. And one last thing on exports side. See, हम exports कर रहे हैं खुद भी, या और our strategy is to export the products and manufacture also on our own. But and there are also many other small manufacturers who are coming up in India, okay, for various other agrochemicals. Would we like to take registration for many other players and be a complete basket player in some geographies? So some we manufacture and some from third party, and be a complete basket seller in Europe market. Would that be a strategy, or it would be purely manufacturing led strategy?
देखिए, my strategy is always led by manufacturing. It's a manufacturing led strategy. That does not mean I don't support my customers. If I have to support my customer, and even if I have to import or buy from the market some product and then make the formulation and give him, I give him. But that percentage is minimum percentage. It's silver for me actually. I don't want, because ultimately I have made my export arm to support the plants. It is not to of course ultimately I have to work for the customers, but the strategy is to support plants and increase manufacturing.
Okay. Thank you from my side. That was it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Riju Dalui, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. My question is regards to, if you look at the commodity price, commodities like cotton and maize, so those prices have increased by more than 50% or 60%, maybe doubled in last 3 to 6 month period. So are you expecting some kind of crop shift towards these commodities or these crops in the next kharif season?
बहुत अच्छा आपने मार्केट को स्टडी किया. यस, देयर आर, मैंने बोला भी था कि वी सी अ गुड चेंज इन प्रोडक्ट मिक्स, बिकॉज इंडिया में राइस वाज द मोस्ट पॉपुलर, बीइंग अ वेरी पॉपुलर क्रॉप वेयरएवर यू हैव वाटर. So in South India, people were doing Kharif and Rabi, both paddy, And in North India also, wherever they could paddy, or East India, wherever they can grow paddy, they were growing paddy only. But this year we have seen the interest of the people, that people are shifting towards other crops, and we see a big increase in cotton coming in, a reasonable increase in, we have seen in mustard crop actually in this Rabi season. Corn maybe, yes. There are a lot of, like in certain areas, sugarcane is growing. So a variety of crops are growing actually. And also in certain areas, soybean also is showing a growth. So in totality, I can say a variety of crops are going to increase in the coming Kharif season. And this is going to make a big difference in the total market size, and I can see there can be a little jump in the market size in the domestic market also, because with all these crops coming in and the interest of the farmer to protect these crops, in the prices of many of the crops are going up, so the market size can grow in the next fiscal. This is the expectation.
Right. So can we expect like some kind of new market or market price expansion in these crops that you were talking about, right? So maybe in other
like
chemicals or
a big leap. देखिए, it won't be a big leap. 30,000 crore, roughly 30,000 crores हुआ है market. So there can be 10 to 15% jump in the market size. We can expect that. Again, that will depend on the monsoons. That will depend on a lot of factors actually. But there is a possibility. There is a definite possibility that the domestic market of the country can go up by, can show double-digit growth in the next fiscal. There is a possibility.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the clarification.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you very much. I thank all the participants for participating and giving your views and asking relevant questions. I hope we have tried to reply everything, but if there is something and we get the mails, we'll respond to all those queries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Asian Market Securities, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.